right. Thank you, Steve. Thanks to everyone for jumping on. Again, great night last night. Really proud of our guys and the way they prepared this week, the way they played last night. It's a lot of fun to be able to get a lot of guys in the game and see everyone supporting one another. Really fired up about the way we finished the game. Obviously got off to a good start, scoring 15 points in the first quarter. But really pleased with the second half, outscoring them 28-0 in the second half and outgaining them 259 yards to 51 yards in the second half. And then, to me, even more impressive is the fourth quarter, when we want to be at our best and have to get games to the fourth quarter and be able to finish and win. We outscored them 21-0 and outgained them 163-11 in the fourth quarter. So that's the way you finish games as well. As we look back at it as a coaching staff and decided on players of the game, offensively, Robbie Ashford and Juju McDowell. Robbie, his performance speaks for itself. And then we did so much with Juju last night. We're a better team when he's on the field. And he was covering kicks. He was returning kicks. He was playing some running back. We had him lined up and running some routes as a receiver last night. Really impressive what he was able to do. Defensively, DQ Smith again did a nice job on the interception and just had an overall good game in the secondary. Special teams was Kai Kroger. Offensive scout team was Mac Walters and DJ Braswell. Defensive scout team was Rondarius Porter, Ronnie's brother, who got in there at the end of the game and had a sack, which was really awesome to see. And then Buddy Mack as well, who's doing a nice job of doing special teams for us. And our scout special teams player of the week was Eric Rice. And our Gamecock MVP was everyone involved with the throwback uniforms, Under Armour, our equipment staff. I know our fans liked the uniforms and our players did as well. So it was a fun night being able to honor that era of Gamecock football. That when they wore those uniforms for sure. So back to work today. Coaches have been in since early this morning. Players have been here this afternoon. Meetings and lifting. We didn't practice today or won't practice today. And then we'll be back in here tomorrow. Practice Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Got a lot that we have to improve on, a lot that we have to clean up. There's no doubt about it. Use Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to get better. Tuesday and Wednesday we'll introduce a little bit of Ole Miss, but not a lot. And then just to get a jump on them, players will be off Thursday, Friday, Saturday. All of us as coaches will be out recruiting on Thursday and Friday. There's a lot of excitement about Gamecock football right now in the recruiting world and a lot of positive buzz and energy. We're really close on a lot of guys right now, so it'll be great being able to get out into high schools on Thursday and Friday and go into a high school on Thursday and Friday as part of the football team that's off to their best start since 2017 and has their best football in front of them. And then everybody will be off Saturday, players and coaches. Everybody needs a day to recharge and rest up a little bit, get around their families, and then we'll be back in here on Sunday, get full speed ahead on Ole Miss. So pleased to be 3-1, finishing up September 3-1, and I got a lot of football in front of us and a lot that we have to get better at, but we continue to get better each and every week, and that's going to be the key for this team as we go throughout the rest of the season. So any questions you guys have? Ladies, fire away.
Shane, this is Dave. Thanks for doing this. Any, update on Rocket or any of the other injured guys from last night?
Yeah, I should have mentioned that. I'm sorry, David. I think everybody should be fine for Ole Miss. If we were playing this week, it would be questionable for a handful of those guys. Rocket would be the one that would be the most questionable, if you will, in regards to being able to play a game this week. But everyone else would be fine for a game on Saturday. Obviously, a bye week is coming at a really, really good time where we have now 2 weeks to get ready for the next one. I anticipate everybody being ready to go for Ole Miss, though, for sure.
Hey, Shane, with some of the things you're referring to when you want to get better, what are maybe one or two things on each side of the ball, offense, defense, where you think y'all most need to improve?
I would say offensively, there's no question about it. You can manipulate and tell yourself whatever you want when it comes to stats and shape it to find a narrative, positive and or negative. But 16 sacks is 16 sacks, and we've been sacked way too many times. And I think we have 16 I was looking at today, and I believe there's 7 teams in our conference that have been sacked 5 times or less. So basically we have triple the amount of sacks that half the league doesn't have, if that makes sense. So we've got to get that fixed. And again, that's not just on the offensive line. That's coaches, that's quarterback, that's offensive line, that's running back, that's tight end, that's receivers, because we've all had a hand in it. That's one. And then we need to be better on third down. We need to keep ourselves out of third and long situations for sure. But we've got to be better on third down. We've done some really good things on offense, but we've punted too many times this year, and we haven't been great on third down. So those are 2 things offensively as well. And don't get me wrong, we've played some pretty good defenses, but we're not the only team that's played pretty good defenses already this year and whatnot. Defensively, I think just pleased with where we are right now. We gave up a couple deep balls last night when we were in just regular 3-deep coverage. So I think we've got to continue to be better with just our discipline, not just in the secondary, but at all levels of the defense, everyone doing their job and not trying to do too much at times, just doing their job and executing over and over again. And certainly, last night Akron's plan was they were going to get rid of the ball quick. They weren't going to let that quarterback sit back there and take hits. So every third down, it was either a screen or it was basically take 3 steps and throw it deep or throw it. And, we've got to be able to, if that teams are doing that, great. We've got to rally to the ball and tackle, which our effort was really good on last night with that. But we've also got to be able to, find ways to generate pressure on the quarterback. And if they want to chip our edges, then we've got to be able to continue to generate pressure on the interior as well. And I feel like we have in a lot of ways. We've just got to continue to find ways to affect quarterbacks also.
Hey, Shane, it's John. I'm if there was anybody that y'all got to see extended action from last night that y'all say going forward, we've got to figure out a way to get this guy into games a little bit more.
I would say at the running back position, I know I said it in the post-game press conference last night that our plan going into last night, John, was to get the Matthew Fuller and Jawarn Howe more work, regardless of how the game was going last night. And there's no question after watching them play last night, we've got to continue to get them more work. And that's not to mean that we're disappointed in any of the other running backs, but I think Matt and Jawarn are 2 guys that are talented guys that we've got to continue to, find ways to get going. So those would be 2 guys. Jatavius Shivers came in on the offensive line at tackle. And he's a guy that's gotten better since last year, and excited about him as he continues to develop. And then defensively, kind of was what it is. We didn't play a ton of plays on defense last night. I think it was like 50 plays, but Fred Johnson's a guy that's doing a lot for us right now at linebacker. He's playing when we're in the 3-down package. He's playing on the edge a little bit. When we're playing true linebacker stuff, he can play inside. He's doing a lot of really good things on special teams. So excited about, the way that he's performed as well. So kind of what we thought it would be. I wouldn't say there were any just great surprises, but I did see that, we've got a lot of guys that continue to get better.
Shane, it's Ben. Had a couple of questions. The first one was, it looked like Linares was wearing some kind of earpiece. What is he kind of listening to there kind of during and through the game?
It's just like with the Dow. It's no different than it's the helmet communication. So we have those helmets on the sideline. So he's no different than any of the other quarterbacks that have the helmet communication in their phone or in their helmet.
Okay. And kind of bouncing off that, he gets those 3 games, then he has to kind of be on the sideline. Is there something he can benefit from sort of that different perspective after having kind of been in the thick of it, sort of seeing it, I guess, from a different space for one game?
Yeah, I would hope so. That's actually something, Ben, that I mentioned to him in practice on Tuesday, that, Tuesday was the day where he didn't practice and he was out there, but he didn't really do anything. And I told him that, hey, here's a day where, you're not taking physical reps, but you can, really get better, kind of being able to step back, or maybe it was Sunday night. I can't remember. It was either Sunday night or Tuesday. Probably, I guess it was Sunday because he was on the scooter Sunday, where I said, hey, here's an opportunity where you can kind of sit back and watch and learn and maybe see practice through Dow's eyes and see everybody working together as well. So, maybe I'm sure he would rather have been out there. There's no question about it. He wanted to be, but I would hope there'd be some benefit from not being out there, maybe some things that he gathered from the week.
Hey, Shane, it's Jack. I wanted to ask you a little bit about Dow's play calling through 4 games. How would you assess the way he's been able to really call this offense, and just how good do you feel about how balanced things were last night in terms of running and passing the football?
Yeah, I think we continue to get better there without a doubt. We're different offensively than what we were last season with Spencer and Xavier and that offense, and we weren't running triple option in the run game, which is what we were doing last night and what we've been doing some with Lenore's, where you literally have you can hand it, you can pull it, you can pitch it, and that's triple option, old school football. So I think Dow and that entire offensive staff have continued to do a good job of just finding unique ways to run the ball and formation people and personnel people and shift and motion still. I think we're doing some really cool stuff, and I think we continue to get better each week. Obviously, game 1 wasn't what we wanted, but game 2, we were a little bit better. Game 3, a little bit better. Game 4, obviously, last night, to have 549 yards of offense and throw it for 276 and run it for 273. That's pretty dang good when you're missing your starting quarterback, basically your starting running back, and one of your starting receivers. So from that standpoint, that was really good. And we've got to continue to just get better each week and continue to stay ahead of other teams. I mean, we've got 4 games on tape now, and teams have now got 4 games of tape to watch us, and we've got to make sure that we continue to stay ahead. But it was good to see us do some things in the passing game last night as well that will continue to help everything all together as an offense, if that makes sense.
Hey, Shane, it's Jordan. You mentioned you guys are going recruiting on Thursday and Friday. Obviously, 2 bye weeks, you'll have chances to hit a ton of kids. But this week, I mean, how far are you guys stretching yourself? Are every coach going to a different location? How are you guys kind of divvying up that workload?
Yeah, we're kind of all over, going to see a lot of our top 20, 25 guys and going to see a lot of our top 20, 26 guys and beyond as well. So pretty much everyone, including myself, are different places. There may be, there's going to be some schools that I'll go to by myself on Thursday and Friday that an assistant coach doesn't go to, and there may be some schools that I go to that an assistant coach comes with me. But all 10 of us will be on the road, and we're a little bit of everywhere. I mean, we're always going to start in South Carolina. There's no question about it. So we'll have a strong presence in the state of South Carolina, but we'll be in Florida, we'll be in Georgia, we'll be in Virginia, we'll be in Alabama, we'll be in North Carolina, and then, like I said, all over South Carolina as well. And then it's also great too, like you said, Jordan, that we've got 2 of these. So now the next off week, we'll be able to, get out, and you only have a certain number of days, but with the remaining days, we'll be able to get out on the road recruiting. And then we were out some this past Friday as well. Markwell Blackwell was out on the road last Friday night. Sterling Lucas was on the road last Friday, Sean Elliott, Mike Furry. So it's good being able to get out on Fridays and be visible, particularly when there's a lot of good things going on right now with our program.
Shane, Dave again. Getting back to some of the offensive line, maybe issues or concerns. Has there been one overriding thing about the pass protection and just why it hasn't really come together in these first 4 games?
I wouldn't say so. They, last night Akron brought some pressure and got us one time on a shot play that we had down the field. One of the sacks last night was decently protected, and then Robbie tried to, flush his way out of the pocket and just essentially flushed or released the wrong way right into where the guy was going to be. So I don't think it's any one thing. Like I said, a lot of it has been against Kentucky and LSU. A lot of it was at the tight end position, and then we had some miscommunications against Old Dominion and whatnot. So we just gotta be better, coaching, playing, the scheme, technique. A lot of those quarterback not hanging on to the ball too long when they're bringing pressure. So we'll go back and look at everything, because it's certainly too many.
Hey Shane, Ben again. You guys dabbled a little bit with, I think it was a 2 punt returner looks a couple of times. What kind of advantages does that approach give you, and what's been sort of the process with, I think you guys maybe rolled 3-4 guys in there at different points?
Yeah, so a few things there. One, we've essentially got, what a lot of teams call punt safe, meaning, it's 4th and 1 and you want to keep your defense out on the field. We have that. And instead of putting Juju back there, what we've been doing this year is Jalen Kilgore's already on the field with the defense. Jalen Kilgore's a talented punt returner, as you saw last night, so we just keep him out there in that situation. Juju's our starting punt returner. He's the one that's always out there. And then last night, Akron, they changed up a lot on us last night. They weren't going to let special teams necessarily beat them, so they did some different things really in all 4 phases that we had to adjust to, and that was one of the adjustments last night. Ben, was just the punter was they were kicking the ball to some different spots than what we had anticipated. And we just put Gage back there to make sure that we had some of those kicks that Juju couldn't get to, that we could get it fielded and make sure that we don't lose field position. That's what was going on. But it's beneficial in that, Jalen Kilgore can return punts. Juju McDowell can return punts. Gage is somebody that has a role and can return punts. So that's very helpful, and will continue to be helpful going forward for sure.
Hey, Shane, it's Phil Kornblut. How do you handle Lenoris in practice this week? Do you bring him along slowly, or can you cut him loose? And then, based on what you've seen from Robbie the last 2 games, how much more comfortable are you knowing that you've got him in your back pocket and ready to go should Lenoris continue to have an injury issue?
Yeah. First part, as far as Lenoris in practice, I just saw him downstairs in the indoor, and he was running around and looked good, and was lifting today and is out of the boot and told me he felt good. So we'll be smart with him this week. I mean, we don't have to get him ready for a game this Saturday, and practices this week will be similar to previous off weeks. We're not going to be out there, 2+ hours every day. But we're going to get a lot of really good work in the time that we're on the field. So we'll be smart with how we use him and getting back in there slowly so he can be at his best next week when we get to game week. And then certainly Robbie and Davis Bevel both did some really good things last night. They both played really, really well, and Davis getting in there was very decisive with the ball and made good decisions. And Robbie did a great job in the passing game. I mean, he made some big-time throws. I mean, that throw to Gage over there on Akron's sideline, man, that was a big-time throw. He released that ball before Gage even came out of his break, and some big-time throws. And then you saw what he could do with his feet. So we've got multiple quarterbacks that can help us win football games, and proud of all 3 of those guys and the way they continue to help each other, and then how they continue to get better.
Shane, real quick, one guy you didn't mention last night who didn't play a lot, and I think he was on the bike a little bit, was Michael Smith. Is he okay? What's his status?
Yeah, he should be. Tweaked his hamstring a little bit last night, but I think he'll be fine. We'll keep an eye on him this week, but don't expect it to be anything long term.
And one other, I don't think Tree got in there at all yesterday. Is that just Shivers is kind of taking? No, I guess not Shivers. Somebody else taking on that role at left tackle as a backup.
Not necessarily. It was more just coach's decision. Nothing against Tree. It was just some other guys who wanted to get in there, and Tree's been a little banged up and just wanted to be smart with how we used him. He was available to play. We just wanted to be smart with how we used him last night, just from a physical standpoint.